What's up guys, welcome back to a new Dying Light 2 video. In this one I'm going to be giving a full recap on everything that happened in 2020 as far as Dying Light 2 is concerned. I'm going to be going over everything that happened from January to December, and yeah, let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off in January, you guys probably already know what happened. Dying Light 2 got indefinitely delayed, and basically they just said they needed more time and they'll keep us updated in the coming months. They didn't really do that. In February, the mayor of Rollclaw, which is the city Techland is based in, I'm probably not saying the city name right, but it doesn't really matter. The mayor of the city ended up playing Dying Light 2, and we actually have a video of that. The only problem is though, the video is in like 360p. And it's vertical, so it's kind of just trash. You can't see fine details, but it does show you some of the more raw gameplay that we didn't get to see in the demo. The demo was obviously planned out thoroughly and well, but yeah, we get to see a little bit more raw gameplay, which is kind of nice. In March, we didn't get anything, so I'm just going to move on to April. In April, RTX ended up getting confirmed for Dying Light 2. Techland started releasing all this stuff about ray tracing and how they were working on it in the next game. We got some pictures kind of showing the difference between RTX on and off, and they ended up talking about it in a few articles about how it's going to affect the game and how it's going to improve it and everything. Moving on to May though, this is when things really start to heat up. So we started off May with an article coming out actually claiming that Dying Light 2 is in development hell, and this kind of set people uneasy for a little bit, but I believe like the day after, or like the second day after, Ola Sandej, the senior PR person at Techland at the time, ended up refuting the article. She was basically claiming that the people that wrote the article interviewed many of the employees at Techland, which is where they got the quotes in the article from. She claimed that they pretty much ignored all of the good stuff that a bunch of the employees said and took what one or two employees said and painted a totally wrong and bad picture about Dying Light 2. They said a bunch of stuff in the article. They said stuff like they were crunching, they were working long hours, they were being forced to work or whatever. I'm gonna probably take Techland's word on this one, but who really knows? We're probably just gonna have to hope that's true and take their word on it. There's really no other way for us to find out at this point, or probably ever, to be honest. Around the same time, Ola ended up confirming that Techland wasn't going to be acquired by Microsoft. Everyone kind of had their suspicions on Microsoft picking up Techland for a while there. Not really sure why. I don't remember why everyone thought that, but yeah, that was a thing. Also in May, we had Timon Smektala, the lead game designer for Dying Light 2, come out with a quote. He said, quote, "The only thing I can say is please trust us. It's the last stretch for this project." I just want you guys to notice he said it's the last stretch in May and it's now December, so maybe plans have changed. I'll talk about that later on though. Coming into June though, we have Unsi, the community manager in the Dying Light Discord, confirming that we will get something this year, which was 2020. We also have another big story of Techland parting ways with Chris Avlon, who was the narrative designer on the project. Kind of a famous writer, you might have heard of him if you've been gaming for a while. But yeah, they ended up parting ways due to sexual assault allegations. And if you want my personal opinion, they weren't backed by really any evidence at all. And I was kind of disappointed Techland kind of just pulled the trigger that quick. But I do still think it ended friendly. I'm willing to say that I believe the game's story was majority of it was most likely done at this point, or maybe all the way done. There's some other people that do think, the story might have been affected in some way, but I'm just not on that boat. In the next month after that, the month of July, we had an Asus promotion for Dying Light 2. This had to have been the stupidest promotion I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they teamed up with Asus, who is a computer parts and computer, company, whatever. If you haven't heard of them, I don't know where you've been, but there's basically a bunch of deals with like a bunch of their items where if you bought it, you would get Dying Light 2 for free. But at the time, I thought it was kind of useless. The promotion wasn't even in the United States, which was kind of disappointing. Also, we're in December at the time I'm recording this, and this was 5 months ago in July. And we don't even have a date yet. The game is still indefinitely delayed. Why would there have been a promotion in July for this game? I just don't understand some of the stuff Techland does, but I don't know. Maybe they have some good reasoning, but yeah, it was just kind of stupid in my opinion. Anyway, moving on from that disaster, coming up on August, Unsi from the Discord, who's the community manager, ended up putting out a comment saying that Dying Light's coming soon. Kind of could have meant a lot of things. The vague wording was soon. He kind of said soon could really mean anything, so that was kind of just whatever. A big thing we had though is we got a merch release for Dying Light 2. We got like hoodies, shirts, some like bracelet type things. There's like a keychain as well. Once again, thought it was kind of odd when the game was indefinitely delayed, but I mean, hey, I wasn't gonna complain that they're releasing merch at all, but well, it was kind of weird. Moving on to September, there was actually an article with the Dying Light 2 writer named David Bergantino, I believe his name is. And in the article, when he was asked about Dying Light 2, he said it's one of the most anticipated console titles for next year, quote. Things actually got interesting though when a day later or something like that, like a day or two, the quote actually ended up getting changed and was said to be a misunderstanding. Basically, they just took the whole next year part out and just called it a day, which I don't know how you really screw up a quote. I made 2 other videos on this back in September actually covering this. So if you want to see the full story, yeah, it's back then, but yeah, I don't know how you really mess up a quote that bad. I mean, come on. I don't know if I'm really buying that. One other thing to sort of support my belief that the writing for Dying Light 2 is done is this writer, David, actually is now working on a big fantasy title that's going to be coming after Dying Light 2. Techland's actually releasing this as well. So this whole article is kind of based on how he's moving on to this new big fantasy title that's going to be coming out after Dying Light 2 sometime. So I thought that maybe could have been a hint that Dying Light 2 writing is done, or somewhere near done at least. That's all for September though. Moving on to October, there was actually a leaked picture of Dying Light 2 that was actually recovered by us, basically, people in my Discord. We ended up having to go through this long process to get the picture back. It was kind of long. You can go watch the whole video on that though if you're interested. But yeah, it's important to mention this happened in late October to early November. And one more thing to add to legitimize. Is that a word? And one thing to add to legitimatize the actual leaked photo is the fact that the way we actually got the leaked photo was from the owner's wife's Instagram account. So it was kind of a really weird story. I'm not gonna be able to explain it all. And it's also important to note this was late October / early November, pretty much during the crossover. And that puts us right into November, where we had Unzi actually retracting his statement saying we will show something this year. If you remember earlier where he said we're going to get something this year, he ended up kind of just saying that wasn't a thing anymore. One big thing that did fly under the radar was Ola Sandej actually leaving as the senior PR manager. The same person we talked about earlier who denied the development hell and everything like that. So I don't think she was fired. She probably stepped down, but this was a huge thing that sort of flew under a lot of people's radar. I think even people that are really active in the community and Discord and everything. And finally, we go into December and we're basically getting confirmed news for next year, 2021 by Unzi. And that's pretty much it. One thing I will touch on though is it seems like if you've been following along, they kind of said it's in the last stretch, you know, we're going to get something this year, 2020. It seems like plans changed a little bit if you were following along there. They were obviously planning something for 2020 originally, it looked like, but now it got pushed back to 2021, I guess. So yeah, 2020 ended up being kind of a crappy year for Dying Light 2 development. I mean, we kind of just got our hopes raised mid-year to 3/4 through, and then we kind of just got let down, I guess. And now we're looking for 2021, which hopefully is going to be more promising. Anyway, though, that's going to be the recap. I mean, if I missed anything, please comment down below and tell me. I mean, comment down below anyway. That helps the channel and everything out. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you want more content on Dying Light 2. I'm putting that stuff out as soon as we get updates or anything. And I'll be putting some other stuff out as well soon. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll have some links for the Discord and Twitter and everything in the description below. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.